Welcome to Spirited Straight Talk, the ultimate podcast for anyone who is ready to live a life with intention and help from spirit. I am your host, Deb Shepard, spiritual teacher, medium, and author, helping you open up to the whole enchilada, or like we like to say, the soul enchilada, so you can truly make your soul rise. So let's go.
As Deb Shepard dances in the background.
Yeah, do you want to rock out? Yeah, I'm going to do my old man, 50-year-old overbite dance.
No. So what's this about money?
Yeah, does that song take you back?
Yeah, and I didn't realize that was from The Apprentice, which is not...
It's our secret.
Our favorite show ever.
Money, the reason we're going to talk about money is because money is energy. And as most of us as humans, we want to have a comfortable life. We want to make sure that if we're creating a business or we're retiring or we want to do certain things for our family, that we have money.
Uh-huh.
And for a lot of people, they want to open a spiritual practice. However, they just don't see people being financially stable in this type of work. And it really is a lot to do with belief system and what people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, over the years, looking at money and my value and what I charge and how do I, work with people, it's all just exchange of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being told or asked several times, well, you have a gift, which, that drives me crazy to hear that word, versus an ability. And they say, you shouldn't be charging because, you're helping the world. And, that would be a really nice thing to do. But like all of us, we have bills to pay and things to take care of. And also just the things that we love in life, the enjoyment and the pleasures.
Mm-hmm.
But money definitely has a vibration for a lot of people that feel that it's evil or it's a bad thing
Mm-hmm.
or never to have too much and don't be greedy.
Mm-hmm.
I know growing up, money doesn't grow on trees. Or, who do you think you are? You need to work really hard for your money. It can't come easily. And so there's all these belief systems that I truly believe affect our ability to receive money, and that we don't have to go back and saying, oh, I had to work really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think people do work hard for their finances, but I think there's just so many different levels of consciousness when it comes to money. And
part of it's a mindset.
It's a mindset completely. So one of the things I'll ask people, like, if you won the lottery, what would you do? We see these shows with the lottery, lottery.
What would you do?
What would you do with that?
Yeah.
Me personally? I think, first of all, I think most people make sure our finances are in good order. But looking at investing, why should we limit just that? And I think what I hear people say most of the time is, I would help my family, I would give to, the community or for these fundraisers, and those are all good. But again, it's about giving out your money again versus how can you build upon that? What would you do?
I think I agree. I think you have to make sure you're financially set. If you come upon a windfall like that, you all of a sudden you have all this money. Well, what do you do? And a lot of people's first inclination, like you said, is to help everyone else. Well, why not build upon it and then pick and choose
how you're going to do it,
how you're going to help and when you're going to help, as opposed to just saying, oh, I'm going to give it all away.
Yes. And I think, too, it's where the judgment is, well, they've got all this money. Are they going to help me out?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure I would tell anybody.
Right.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Because, there's people that you have not seen in years that might come out of the woodwork versus, and not having that pressure. And then you're going to have that guilt, which is also going to lower that vibration that we're going to talk about, instead of really being clear and going, okay, what should I do next? But let's say you don't have that windfall. Mm-hmm. So what is it that you're going to do for yourself in the meantime to create the opportunity of receiving, and what the energy around money is?
Why do you think people in the spiritual community don't place a value on their time? Is it because others tell them? I know we receive messages occasionally
Yes.
on social media requesting free readings or requesting that you donate your time to them and their cause.
Right. And we do donate a lot.
You donate a lot to the community
Of choice.
of choice, yeah, but we receive random requests for people. Oh, I can't afford you. How can I get your services though?
Yeah.
And it's difficult to navigate that.
Because you want to help people, but
Right.
I always say I'm not the only one out there. There are so many varieties of people that do the same work, maybe in different ways, but I am not the only individual.
You are one of the best.
Well, according to you, yes.
No, according to a lot of people.
But I think spiritual people that are very intuitive and very empathic, they feel the pain of others.
Right.
And so what they do is they take that on and give of themselves versus valuing that they can't give as much to other people if they're always lowering their prices or giving it away for free.
Because then you're working so hard to pay your bills or not being able to pay them because you're just giving everything away,
Right.
which what you have, the abilities you have a huge value.
Yeah, and this is anyone in the business. If you hire an accountant, a contractor, your dentist, an attorney, they're all being paid. We pay them for their services. So to me, this is no different than any other service, but I think there is a thought that because how we do it, that there's less value and that we should give it away for free. What I tell people is, well, if my mortgage company, the electric bill, the credit card, the water, if they all say I can do it for free, they're not going to charge me. Absolutely.
Sure.
But that's not how it works.
Right.
We are in a human situation and all of us have a responsibility to take care of our homes and our families and our health. And I look at these people that are always just giving so much, their health is being affected. And you've really helped me over the last few years when I've had those challenges with my health, that we need to balance that, maybe working less and taking care of myself and saying no when we really need to when I'm tired. And I think that's also the abundance. To me, money is a value, but so is my energy and my health. What is valuable to you? So that is also putting an energy around that as well. And so I think there's also a lot of judgment around money. We look at politics, what our government is spending money on. And for a lot of us, we have seen our veterans out, panhandling, asking for money, that we're not taking care of them. And what about schools and our medical care and the police and the fire departments? We all look at what our government is spending and what we vote for. There's a lot of judgment at how it should be done. And that really can affect who we vote for, what we think. And I think a lot of it's just personal about how we...
Limiting beliefs.
Limiting
And
beliefs.
we're circling back to limiting beliefs and really viewing things a certain way versus
being
opening
more
your mind.
opened up to. So one of the great things I like talking about is how athletes are judged for how much money they make as a career. And we hear that they have these assignments for, millions of more money for being an athlete. And then we see...
They get paid so these top athletes get paid really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we look at a school teacher or, someone that is of service and how they're not being paid as much. And what we see as the value is not that person that's a teacher or someone of service is more valuable than the athlete. It's what that athlete brings to the community. So the athlete can bring so many different jobs. So they're bringing advertising, the food industry, the ticket sales, parking lots are paying to park their vehicles, janitorial service, clothing. You look at all the clothing that's made by someone's number or their name and that they're sponsored from this.
All the people that athlete or those athletes or teams employ, there's a lot of jobs provided.
So that's why there's more money in that industry is because how many jobs are created from those athletes that are playing on the field. Versus if you look at a school teacher, it's our governments that, unless it's a private paid school, our governments are paying for the school and the security and the building and the air conditioning and whatever else goes into that, the buses. So it's money that they need more versus that it's giving to a community. So this is why the person is not more valuable. It's the industry that they're in creates more value. And I think
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think it's understanding that there isn't a difference. And people do really judge, well, how come they're doing this? And why are they spending that kind of money on this? And I think it's
and those athletes don't deserve that.
Yeah.
And I have to agree in some sense, like these salaries are immense, but it does, though these sports events bring a lot of jobs to the communities that have sports teams.
It's the announcers, it's the statistics, it's the everything you think about when it comes to these athletes.
Everybody that handles electronics and computers and
all of it.
I mean, there's
lighting.
Yeah, for one event, there's got to be probably at least 500 employees.
At least, yeah, we think that or more. And then we judge how they spend their money. But I do know that I have met athletes, and one of them you and I met that was a former football player. And I didn't know that at the time. And he walked into the studio and he could hardly walk. And when I found out what he did at the end of the reading,
and he was a prominent football player too, so I'm sure he had a higher salary.
Absolutely. And I said, would you do it, before I finish my sentence, would you do it again because of the pain? He goes, absolutely not, before I even finish. So there's also the price to pay when you use your body as your value. And that's an important thing to look at too. How much
he can't work.
Yeah.
He's so injured and broken.
Yeah. And he could hardly even sit. He was so uncomfortable. And I thought, here you did something that you were good at and you had a passion and you were paid well, I'm assuming. But then his body, he's like, I wouldn't do it again. So there is.
Well, he played for years on the Denver Broncos, and he was one of the top players. So yeah, he was paid really well. Yeah. But for him to say, I wouldn't sacrifice myself again,
says a lot.
Being in the same situation, it says a lot.
And teachers, to me, as an example, are a lot like parents. You try to work with your children, but you don't get to see the results, and you really hope the best. So again, you look at all of these different jobs, and is one more valuable than the other? And it's really about what that job incorporates and what they do. And it's also how people judge people with money. You and I were talking the other night about getting a convertible sports car. And our son Jake looked it up, and he goes, well, that one's about $250,000.
Yeah, because we were talking about a Tesla, because they are electric. Yeah. But, we can't do that.
Well, what I said was, I'd rather have a place by the beach. So again, it's what do you feel is valuable and where would you spend your money? And we do have friends that have beautiful cars. Why not? But people think, well, what are they spending their money on that? So again, it's looking at your belief system and how you're judging others.
Right. But then again, if you think about that vehicle that they purchased, the makers of the vehicle, yes, they profit from selling that vehicle, but what about all the employees that company employs?
Right.
And all the designers and the painters and the engineers. And so they're paying somebody's salary.
Correct.
Or many people's salary. Yeah. So if they can, why not? Yeah.
If they can do it, then do it. But I think it's really going back to your belief system. If you are feeling like, well, why are they getting paid this much money and they're not worth it, and look how hard I work. It has nothing to do with how hard you work and how someone else's work is. It is the complete community and society, how we decide a value. But again, we want to talk about how do we change that for ourselves? How do we decide how to receive more money? And we look at people in my business and our practice that are spiritual. Some make good for them, and some have to have a second job or another job, and this is their secondary job. And so how to change this? And one of the ways that I think is interesting to learn how to receive money is working on your second chakra.
Okay. We talk about chakras quite often and how to align your chakras.
So it's your belief system. It's looking at what you think about it. What do you think about others? But the second chakra is your sacral. So it's where all your organs are for having babies. Is that the way to say it? It's your sacral.
You struggled with that
yeah,
one.
I did. And that is about giving and receiving. And people are really surprised because it's all about the yin and yang. Mm-hmm. For instance, if we had the sun 24/7, we would all perish. We wouldn't be here. So we need the cycles of the moon, which balance the water and balance our planet and things like that. Well, when I ask people, one color is feminine, one color is masculine, what color is feminine? People usually say white. It's actually the black. Female energy needs to receive to procreate. So we're the moon. It's on the left side. That's how it's all vibrates. The white on the yin and yang is the male, and that is the sun. And it needs to give to procreate. So if we're constantly giving, the universe believes that we want to give and we don't want to receive. And with that said, if we're constantly giving, it's that masculine energy versus creating the balance of being able to give and receive. Women have really found their independence. They want to not have a need. So learning to receive is huge. So most of us want to take care of ourselves. We want to be independent. We have worked really hard to be more independent. And I'm talking right now more to the female energy, but this is also on male energy where they don't feel like they want to ask for help as well. Women seem to have a more difficult time that I've worked with, but it's even just being able to take a compliment. Oh, that's really a beautiful blouse you're wearing. I don't want to hear the backstory. I don't want to hear, oh, where you got it and how much you paid. It was
just receive the compliment. Just that's your point, right? Okay.
And just say thank you. But we have a tendency to push back compliments. Mm-hmm. And, oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, I'm so sorry. We have a tendency to do that. So receiving is the basic thing of just being allowed to say thank you when you receive a compliment. Letting people help you pick up the tab. How many times do you feel guilty because someone's picking up the tab for you? One of our students, Becca, in our class, I love it. She said, I'm not needy, but I'm an advocate for my needs. And I think we're at a part in our belief system where we're supposed to be so independent, but then we want to have a relationship or partnerships or more clients or more support or financially more stable, but we're unable to allow ourselves to receive. Mm-hmm. So it's changing that. And I know you and I've worked on that too, of supporting each other because we didn't always have it in the past. Mm-hmm. But I do take more from you than I give you, so it's not quite balanced.
I don't think so. I don't think that's true. So ask for help and learn to receive.
Yeah, learn to receive.
Some of the biggest things.
And throughout this, we've talked about the vibrations. And go back to the chakras if you want to know more about the second chakra, which is in the podcast. But it's also looking at forgiving yourself for things. I think there's a lot of guilt when we spend money on ourselves. There's times where, I worked really hard, so I really deserve this, versus why don't you just deserve it because you're a good person and you have the money and you like what's there. Sometimes we feel that we have to take care of everybody else. Like we said in the very beginning of the podcast, well, if I receive a lot of money, I'm going to take care of everybody. And if we see other people struggling, we feel guilty if we have something more than somebody else. Mm-hmm. And again,
or if you're a spiritual worker and you're told or made to believe that you have a gift, so you should give it away for free, that you can't pay your bills and support yourself because of that belief system.
Why would that person expect you to do it for free or less?
Right.
You don't go to a restaurant or to a store and start negotiating the cost.
The price, yeah. Could you imagine?
You don't even want to do that for cars anymore.
Only want to pay $4 for this steak.
Yeah. I don't have to. Do you understand my background? And I'm going through a hard time.
And don't you know, since you can cook, you should give away for free.
I think it's one of those things to really see where your value is. And again, we're looking at the athlete versus the teacher, a person of service, a spiritual person, whatever that looks like for any of us. It's realizing that we do have a value. The more we see our value and we respect it and we put boundaries around that and we remove a lot of the guilt and that old kind of belief system, it's going to help you create the energy that people are going to see your value and your worth, and they're going to want to participate with you.
And the universe will cooperate with that.
Absolutely. The other thing is that you're also teaching other people it's okay to receive. It's not a weakness. People go, it's a weakness to receive. No, it's not. And one of the things I've always shared is when you help somebody that's having a hard time, it makes you feel good. I know when I've really helped somebody, whether it's because they hired me or because I'm just a friend, it makes you feel really good. And when you ask someone else for help, it allows them to feel good that they can help you. But we have a feeling, we have this belief system, oh, they're so busy and I don't want to bother them. And, they're going to think all these things about me. Let them think. You're not going to ask a person that's going to think poorly of you. It's okay. So that's part of it. I think the other thing is to not control it. People will say a lot of times, well, if I just had this much money, I would be okay. And this is something to...
Then you're setting a limit.
Yeah, that's a belief system.
You're limiting, yeah.
Versus saying, hey...
Bring me abundance.
Bring me abundance. I'll figure out what to do with it, when it shows up. But there is a feeling of limited belief regarding how much you need. If I just have this. And again, if you just have this, what's going to happen later on? And versus just allowing it to come through and you can decide what to do later on. I think it's also remembering that abundance can be so many other things than just paper and coin money. It can be your relationships. You want abundant of good, healthy relationships. You want to be able to receive hearing your guides, hearing your loved ones. You want to receive more opportunities in your life. All that receiving.
You want to attract more clients if you are that type of a business.
But, receiving, if you can't receive, it's going to be hard to hear from your guides and your loved ones. And that's all part of the receiving thing, is being able to hear.
So you're telling me that you're a good receiver.
Yes. I've been learning over the years. But part of that is if you feel like you have to control it or you're not good enough or whatever that belief system is, it does affect your ability to receive it because you lower your energy vibration.
So what are some ways that you can, what are some things that you can specifically do to change this energy?
Wear orange for your second chakra and dance.
Wear orange and dance under the light of the moon.
Well, I started doing this career by learning Feng Shui. And of course, that's one of my passions. And
you learned about your abilities through
studying Feng Shui because I could start feeling energy. And that's how I truly believe was my
catalyst.
Yeah, catalyst to I was going to say diving board, but I like catalyst better. And the great thing about Feng Shui is it has a wealth corner in your home, in your business office or whatever, and you can multiply in each room your wealth corner. We have one client, one student, that when I looked at her one space that was her wealth, she's like, really, this is my wealth corner? I go, yeah, you've got to really work on that. And she did. And now she has her own practice. Her business is so busy she has to say no.
That's fantastic. I know who you're talking about. And she was in the very beginning of
her practice
and struggling and not able to find the clients that she needed.
Right.
So,
and now she's like, wow, I'm full.
She's got abundance.
So again, a simple thing. It took her 30 days, 45 days, and it started shifting.
Yeah.
And
that's
she
fantastic.
wanted the abundance.
So Feng Shui,
yes,
placing amethyst
in those corners.
In your wealth corner.
Coins.
Which is your wealth corner in your home or in any room would be...
If you walk into the door, it would be the left back corner.
Okay. So
in every room.
Left hand, in the rear of the room, left-hand side corner.
And that would be on your desk and different places you can keep.
So you can place it in the left corner
of the
room. The left corner of your desk, the left corner near your computer, yes. whatever your case is, and you can keep expanding
Correct.
that by placing it over and over again.
And then you have one entire space in your home. It's all the wealth. So if your wealth corner is if you walk into the front door and it's on the far left, it's the bathroom. You really don't want to have any water energy in there. You want to.
So if your wealth corner, so your left-hand side corner of your home, when you walk in the front door, if it's a bathroom,
no water stuff. You want to put red, you want to put crystals, you want to put money, and then duplicate it, because that means all your money is going down the drain.
Okay. So you place these things in that room, but also you multiply it in all the other rooms of your home.
Keep the toilet seat down. Isn't that funny?
Don't let the money be flushed down the toilet.
Yeah. People are like, what? It does work.
But if your home is not situated that way, whatever room that is, you place your crystals, your intentions, put a money tree.
Just a real plant.
Yeah.
Colors.
Have live plants there. Just bring life to it, right?
Yeah, it feels good. Purple is also that color, and gold.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Purple is a royalty color. The reason why purple is a royalty color, and it's also the third eye, is in several thousand years ago, they didn't have anything to do the color purple. So the wealthy were able to have people swim down and get coral to make the color purple. So that's why it was always considered for royalty. So that's why that color is used.
You love that story.
I love that story. And I love wearing purple. So, got both.
We have lots of purple.
And we went, well, the next thing I'm going to encourage people to do is write down your beliefs about money. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Rich
Limiting
people,
beliefs.
Yeah, like people go, well, I want a lot of money, but I don't want to change who I am. Well, why would you change who you are? That means in their belief system that everyone that has money is not very nice.
Okay.
And that's not true. So you want to really think about people that are wealthy, that are kind, that you respect, and
or change your story and be the kind one.
Yes. Look at your beliefs from childhood or what people tell you about money.
So write down your beliefs and evaluate what your belief system is.
And evaluate if that's the right thing. Your vision.
How do they change their story?
Retell it.
So rewrite it the way they want it. Okay.
We always like vision boards, and vision boards are a great way of looking at different individuals or situations regarding money. Maybe you want money to be able to rescue dogs or rescue kids or whatever, that you would rescue plants.
Me personally?
Yeah. Plants and
well,
goats.
first I would invest in a beach house.
Yes. So again, looking at people that if you really have a desire to do some of these things, you're still doing something that you love and you're passionate about, and you're helping a community. So if you want to do those things, then your limiting belief is not going to bring that money to you. If you believe that I have to work really hard, or I'm going to have to pay a lot of taxes, or what are people going to think of me? All that's going to lower your energy.
Like one of the things we thought about was if we had the ability to do this, we would create a place for retreats that would house
so many
retreats.
People to do those things.
Yeah,
We'd be there first, laying on the floor.
Yeah, we'd rest first.
Think about how you judge others, and that's, again, the vision board of your belief systems. If you're that person that judges the person that drives up in a fancy car or wearing fancy clothes, and we don't know their story. Someone was posting on TikTok that someone was using, I think it was food stamps, but she was dressed nicely, and she had a nice brand purse, but people were judging her based on why was she using this, but we don't know her story. Maybe these were gifts, maybe these are things that she had, then all of a sudden she didn't have money. I mean, I've been there where there hasn't been money and you're doing your best, but again, we look and judge others for
without knowing their story.
So
maybe somebody loaned her some stuff to get a job.
Yeah,
who knows?
She's on an interview, and we want you to look good, not feel like you're doing the situation. So again, reel back your judgment, because if that's the case, it's going to keep you from having those things, because you may think, well, people are going to judge me like I'm judging that person. So, work on that.
That makes sense.
Again, where we have a bunch of malas, we love crystals and malas are things you can wear on your wrist or on your neck, and they're to help you vibrate to an energy to learn to receive money.
They're crystals.
They're crystals. And if you wear on your wrist of your left side, that's the receiving, or around your neck. And our website talks about all the different ones we have and how to use them. And if you haven't ever had one, they're beautiful.
And they are stones and crystals, and they have intentions. And one of them is for prosperity. And it was specifically made. It's handmade, and it's to help bring prosperity.
So I wear it all around. I wear them to bed. I have them all up and down my body.
Right.
It's very comfortable.
Right.
Again, saying thank you with no explanation when someone compliments you. Just leave it be. Just say thank you and appreciate it and feel it in your heart. At first it'll be uncomfortable, but the more you're able to receive those things, when someone opens the door, say thank you. When someone wants to pick up the meal or do something kind for you, don't feel you owe them. Just appreciate, because they're letting you know that they appreciate you. It's also important the words that we use. We don't want to say, I just need enough. It's never enough. It's hard to make money. Playing that victim role. Again, that victim role is going to be honored by the universe. So I already have my money here. I'm so abundantly blessed with everything I'm getting. And we don't know where that money's going to come from, but we don't have to be attached to that.
So act as if.
Act as if.
Versus
being desperate, feeling like you can't get it, or it's hard.
Or wanting it or asking for it. You need to act as if.
That's what I did, how I met Dana, is I wrote a letter to the universe thanking the universe that I had this person, and I never put that it was a male or female. And when I found Dana, or she found me, a few months later I found the letter and it fit her to a T. So again, I acted as if that partner was already here in my life and how I wanted it. And that's how the abundance.
And I read the letter, and that's exactly how you wrote it, is as if.
As if. I think it's also believing that it's easy to receive. I think we're taught we have to work hard. Who are you to deserve this? Make sure you marry someone smart so they can take care of you. Whatever that
belief system
is, or I need to have another degree in order to receive the value. And that's a human old belief. It's not an energetic belief. So realizing that you do deserve, you're a good person, even if you're a bad person. I always say to people, money can buy hospitals to help children, and it can buy weapons of mass destruction. Money is just a vibration of energy, whatever we do with it. You're a vibration of energy. You can attract it based on how you see your value and worth, what you believe in, and how you learn to receive.
And that is amazing.
Good. Well, I hope you guys use some of this, and I hope that you see abundance in all the ways of your life. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Spirited Straight Talk. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so that you get notified of new shows. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a review. And let's connect. Visit debshepard.com for more insights, support, workshops, and to book a session with Deb. Plus, enter to get a free reading with Deb. All you have to do is sign up for the email list and you'll automatically be entered. Just go to debshepard.com. That's DEBSHEPPARD.com.